Happy 2025, everybody. It's time for another episode of the MAWBR podcast. Hopefully I can think coherently despite taking a hit, but it is time to now personally at least reflect on 2024. There's going to be the good, there's going to be the bad, there's going to be a bit of stuff involving YouTube. I'm just going to go over it kind of like how I did looking over 2023 and a couple of other years. So some things I can at least remember and reflect on 2024 for. First off, it was like right at the beginning of the year when I found out that one of my YouTube videos is actually on the Lost Media Wiki. For those who may or may not remember, I did a video where I talked about WWF/WWE Excess finally being found in full and being preserved. I did a video about it because it was finally uploaded to XWT, being Extreme Wrestling Torrents. Made a video announcing it, and sure enough, that video ended up being put on the Lost Media Wiki page for WWF Excess. So, awesome. And once again, thank you to whoever was the admin on Lost Media Wiki for sharing my video on the website. Very much appreciated. You're awesome for it. Let's see. What is the other stuff? Well, yeah, I might as well bring this up. I gotta be careful with my wording, but this year also brought my first in-person relationship for the first time in over 16 and a half years. I know that may be a little bizarre thing to think about, being like, oh, there's no way. I promise y'all, it's real. Back in April, I actually got into my first in-person relationship for the first time since the last one ended back in September 2007. And I thought I was finally going to start riding a big, turnover year, and this wave of happiness, being like, yeah, everything's going to be awesome, finally things are going right. And one of the other right things that also did happen, which I was actually glad about, went to my first Pride event back in June. If you've been on one of my other channels, you've probably seen the video that I filmed when one of those overly religious dudes was walking around the sidewalk, first with a bullhorn and then without it, trying to spread his religion, trying to condemn people in the community and everything. It's just like, dude, I don't care what your religious beliefs are. To be intruding on this for us is just completely unnecessary. Because, we're not standing outside of your church while you are, praising your religion and God and all that other stuff, which you get to do once or twice a week, depending on how frequent your church services are. So why are you invading on this for us when we only have, 1 month out of the year that's dedicated to Pride? You have more time for your, dedicated to your religion than we have for Pride, so just leave it be, okay? Now, of course, I mentioned the relationship thing. Unfortunately, there also became the big downside, because in September, that relationship suddenly ended. I had not seen my now ex since July, mid-July-ish. They had a rental car, they had to trade it back in finally because their previous car had to get scrapped due to an accident, and they have been stuck at home. I have not seen them since around July 20th, somewhere in there. I can't remember, it's around the 20th to the 21st. And we tried communicating through social media, but then eventually, beginning of September, I got dumped. And at this point, I barely heard from my ex since then. In fact, by the time I'm recording this, I have not heard a peep from my ex in over a month. Because I'm completely convinced that they are just completely avoiding me at this point, because I see that they'll be playing video games through Steam, but they can't be bothered to talk to me, so really shows where I stand there. Not fun there, but at least on the turn side, somebody else has come into my life, which I am very grateful for. DJ, if you're listening to this is about you. And in fact, I'm actually going to do this. DJ doesn't know that I'm doing this, but I want to do it for him anyway. If you all are on TikTok, okay, I'm going to try to put the link in the description. I want you all to just do one thing for me, please. Go over to DJ's TikTok and just say hi, please. Just brighten his day. Make him feel good and everything. Just let him know that I sent you guys there. Just really, all I ask is for you guys to brighten his day. That's all I ask. Let's see. Other things. Well, I'll bring up this next one towards the end because of the timing and significance. One of the other positive things I can at least say is I finally got through the Saturday Morning Slam reviews. Thank goodness, that show is torturing me. If anybody has seen that series on the podcast, you know why. Another good thing that I did not think we were going to find. After I made one of my videos about it, and thanks to somebody within V-Infuso's community has brought this to light, we finally found the missing lost episode of Brooke Knows Best. Finally. And if you've also been here on the channel, you've seen that I've done the solo episode reviewing the episode once it finally came to light. So it's like, yay, lost media found. Another thing that I noted, like, I can't remember, I didn't bother checking, but, like, out of all my channels, how many videos I uploaded. Like, I know I picked up uploads for what I call the 25 days of Fistmas for ZWE, being first 25 days of the month, uploads. Just for within the content within the SmackDown era, when you had the Fist that was supposed to be the main part of the stage, there were some that had different designs for the stage during that period because of, like, cross-promotion type shit that was going on, but I at least got the uploads back up. Again, I don't know how many uploads I did between all 4 of my channels. I do not know. I did not count, and I did not care. At least I did not go overboard like I did in 2021. If you know, you know. Then I checked out with streams. None of my streams were gaming this year. I did like a total of 7 streams. Not all of them are available on the channel. The most infamous one being during the summer, where a big screaming match took place. Like, holy crap. And again, if you know that stream, you know. Then there was also the drama with a certain southern person that I cut ties with a little while back. That hopefully that can finally end once and for all, but that remains to be seen. I also went through the 3 different pure pro wrestling shows that happened here in the state. Always had a great time. Made some more wrestling friends in there. I think it might have been it had to have been one of the shows. I can't remember if it might have been in May. There was actually somebody there, not one of the wrestlers, but one of the fans attending the show that actually recognized me right as the show came to an end. It might have, I know it was one of the 2 shows, but I can't remember exactly which one, but that was actually a pretty cool moment. Never been recognized in public outside of people who already know me, like, within the wrestling company. One of the other things I can also remember, and in fact I actually got this on my desk, within the YouTube Partner Program, they give, like, this hashtag YouTube High Five system thing in there, where if you're a partner, you can redeem a prize depending on, like, what selection that they got. The first one I did not take part in because I didn't think twice about it, but then the next one, they were like, hey, you've got an option. You can either have M&M's with the YouTube logo embedded on them, or this, like, Lego setup type of toy thing or whatever from YouTube where you put it together and makes the red YouTube play button. I decided to get that because I felt like that was going to hold up longer because, well, I don't want food if it's just going to spoil. But I put that together and I've got it sitting here on my desk. Really cool little novelty item. And even within, like, I also mentioned the relationship a bit ago, there were also some things that I got, like, when we were going to that store, Spencer's. If you've been to that store, you know how crazy that place can be. One of the fun little, at least the most innocent style toy, I got a Kenny plush from South Park. He sits here on my desk. Yes, he's still alive. He doesn't make noise, but I promise you he's not dead. Okay? Clarification. At least one of the other things I can say, I know I brought this up in videos or maybe social media. My main monitor on my desktop PC, the ultra-wide one, that one's pretty much dead. Like, I tried with the cable. I thought it could have been a cable thing, so I tried it from the other ultra-wide monitor on my gaming PC. Hooked it up to the main monitor. That was having problems. The problem's still consisting, so yeah, that one pretty much kaput. It's a shame. It's a good monitor. Once you see something on a 21:9 monitor, pretty crazy thing to see, and it's something you never really want to give up afterwards. And I think it was also this year, actually surpassed 10 years being hired into my job, which I'm really surprised at. I didn't think I was going to last this long already, especially with some of the chaos that's happened. But now one of the big things, if you've been paying attention for the last month, you know what this is about. Mark scan enforcement. Yeah, this whole thing picked up again, eh? Because we know this is a company that took my YouTube channel down in 2020. And now all of a sudden on Twitter this month, or the month of December, they came back. Because it's like they gave me 4 strikes, all so far. 3 of them within the course of a couple days, between the 8th and the 10th of December. And then 1 again on Christmas Eve. Because like the first one, I had uploaded a video where I screen recorded myself getting the Shiny Mellow Weta through the Pokemon Mobile Home app, or the Pokemon Home mobile app. Put that on Twitter. Within a few months, oh, this contains copyrighted music or sound recordings or whatever. So I just thought, I'm not going to bother fighting it. It's just like, that one's a hard thing to really go about. Then 2 days later, they give me 2 strikes on the same day, claiming I'm violating the copyright of Pure Pro Wrestling, the very same wrestling company that I just talked about a bit ago. And I was like, wait a second. In order for you guys to have this working relationship, of course there's have to be a monetary exchange in there, because It's a business deal. I contacted the owner of Pure Pro Wrestling. He doesn't know who Mark Scan Enforcement is, so how can there be a working relationship based on what was said in the statement of the DMCA takedown notice that was filed to me on Twitter? And I have also emailed Mark Scan Enforcement 6 different times this month. Not a single response back. In fact, I know Templar Kings, aka Leon, I know he's planning on making a video talking about all this, so it's most likely not out by the time this episode comes out, but when it does, I'm going to be sure to check it out. Maybe even put a link to it if I remember to do so. But the second and third strike they say was on behalf of Pure Pro Wrestling. The third strike, and like I said, those two the second and third strike were in the same day. The third strike was on a WWE clip in a reply tweet that I made over a year ago to a user called WrestleClips. And I'm just like, wait a minute. You guys pretty much copied and pasted the statement saying this WWE clip is in violation of Pure Pro Wrestling's copyright, even though they're two different companies that aren't even associated with each other. So December 11th, I filed an appeal to the third strike. And I just said, hey, this is a clear misidentification. Pure Pro Wrestling and World Wrestling Entertainment have nothing to do with each other. This is not like a valid takedown. And on Christmas Eve, a little after around 8:30ish, the appeal went through after complete and utter silence by this company. So it's like, hey, after all these years, I got something over them. After all this time. And then what happened an hour and a half later? They gave me a new strike. Because, like, for a couple of days, I had my Twitter account off of private. I wanted to make it public again, because that's the thing I don't like having to do. I don't like having to make my Twitter account private. Because that's just never fun, and it's hard to really get your account out there. I mean, it's already been tough enough for my account being 16 years old and not being a paid member of the service, but it's hard to get your account, like, out there in any way, shape, or form for growth or even engagement or everything when your account's on private. So, like, I took it off private for a few days. One of the strikes the appeal went through, and then an hour and a half later, they give me a new strike. So it's just like, that part did not make sense. Like, you guys give me the strikes, I file an appeal, did not hear a single thing back until the appeal was confirmed to be, like, pushed through, so the third strike got taken away. And then an hour and a half later, you guys give me a new strike. So it's like, no communication through, like, anything since then. Not through emails, not anything leading up to this sudden new strike, and the timing of it is really, really sketchy. So, and I've also filed an appeal for this recent one, because this recent one was from before the most recent show that I went to for Pure Pro Wrestling, to where, like, it was like 5:45 in the afternoon. I posted a picture that I shared, that I always take, because, like, every time I go to these shows, I take a picture of the ring and share it. A lot of people do that stuff. They take a picture of, like, at some kind of event that they're at to share their excitement. I did that, and that was clearly before the show, because I even have it on the flyer that I have over here on my, or flyer little card here that they use for promotional reasons. The doors open or the main show happens at 7 p.m., but you get in at 5:30 if you're a VIP member, and I always try to make sure to be so with front row tickets and everything. So you get there or as early as 5:30. I got there about 10 to 15 minutes later than that, because long line, cold weather, so waiting outside. So I even sent out the tweet with a picture of the ring, which had nothing going on inside of it, and posted it to Twitter because the pre-show didn't happen until after 6 o'clock. But yet, Mark Scan Enforcement went after that image. They're like, oh, violation again. I'm just like, appeal. It's just like, you guys are just either, like I've said on social media, either this company's acting on their own, or somebody's doing some impersonation nonsense and is trying to get this company sent after me to get my Twitter account taken down. Because, again, the fact that the owner of Pure Pro Wrestling does not know who this company is makes me wonder how they have the authority to do this. Because I've even done my research. So far, I have not been able to find a letter of authorization that confirms a working relationship between Mark Scan Enforcement and Pure Pro Wrestling. Because I've done my Google searches. If they have one, it's going to be through some kind of search engine search, because for some reason they don't have that directly on Mark Scan's website. But though, if you look up like Mark Scan letter of authorization on Google or anything, you'll find links to them on their through their website. But again, you have to go through a search, because again, there's no direct directory there to find their website if you go to their website firsthand. But it's just like, I did a specific Google searches. I was going through every URL combination I can find within these, like, websites to try to find something, have not found a single document that confirms that there's some kind of working relationship between Pure Pro Wrestling and Marks the Enforcement. And like I said, I talked to the owner of Pure Pro Wrestling. He doesn't know what's going on. So it's like, if this was going on, he of all people would know because he's the head honcho. So by the time I'm recording this, there's still no word about the most recent takedown because, again, I filed the appeal at like 3 o'clock in the morning on Christmas. So they have like 10 to 14 days to respond. Who knows what's going to happen? And I still found it weird because, like I've said this before, even for this one too. I do not get how, like, I'm the one being targeted on Twitter. I'm not seeing anybody else on Twitter, even this month alone, dealing with this company. It's just constantly going after me. So, Marks the Enforcement, if you guys could please explain yourselves and get off my case, it would be appreciated. Now, before I close the episode, there are a couple things I want to quickly talk about, and those are at least plans that I have for 2025, at least here for YouTube. Any personal stuff I don't really have because, like, I don't plan that stuff, but I got 3 plans so far on YouTube right now. Maybe 4. First of all, there's a new series that's going to be here on this channel. I don't know how long it's going to be, but to kind of let the cat out of the bag, if you've seen my WWE 2K18 overclocked Nintendo Switch video from like a year or so ago, I tested out to see how the Nintendo Switch port of the game works on a Nintendo Switch that has been hacked / jailbroken, and the hardware being overclocked to the max to see if it would affect the performance. So they got me to thinking, I've got RetroArch on there. Why don't I see if other games from other consoles that can be emulated through RetroArch on the Nintendo Switch with its hardware, see if any games from past consoles actually work through there. So it's going to be like a performance / hardware test and everything for these games to see if games work from this console or that one, this specific game, so on and so forth. So I've already got the first episode set. I'm not going to say which game it is yet. If you see my social media, you've probably gotten the hint already, but that's going to be a big one to start. And I'm going to be doing it for like certain consoles. So it's not going to be the easy Nintendo handhelds or home consoles. Like anything before the 32-bit like generation consoles are not going to be touched. So no Super Nintendo, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy, Game Gear. It's pretty much going to be anything from like the 32X-ish and like past that. It's not going to be every console ever, but you're going to get a general timeline there. Another one, hopefully I'm going to be able to grow the gaming channel because that channel has been struggling for growth. Like I think the peak number of subscribers was like 375. And then within like the last couple weeks, all of a sudden it slipped down to 372. So it's like, I don't know if somebody's losing their channels or if YouTube just like perch, but the numbers have not been good on the gaming channel. I'm still keeping the frequent upload schedule going of at least 2 videos a week. Because like I cut it down to try to ease myself a little bit. And I'm trying to get like a 3rd video uploaded for like the first Wednesday of the month. So hopefully the gaming channel can try to get on track because it's like, it can be disheartening trying to grow a channel, like trying to upload and everything, trying to keep the channel going and just seeing it get nowhere. So hopefully that can turn around. Hopefully TheDoubleZTV, my hope within 2025, depending on if the channel's going to get pushed out again, is to hit 100K. That's like the big goal. I just want to finally get it done. Even if I don't get, like, it'll confirm whether or not I get the silver play button depending on YouTube's criteria when I hit that milestone, but I at least want to be able to say that I got to that number. So, and I know it's around like 29,000 subscribers away by the time I'm doing this, so cross our fingers that it can get there. And then to close off, one little CAD to also put out of the bag there. I've got plans for a new channel. I'm not going to say what it is just yet. There's some people that know the rumblings. I've got the channel that I'm talking about. I've already got it created. There's no content yet, but I've got the name, the handle, the banner, the channel logo / profile banner, a little overlay that's going to be there. So, like, I've got that channel's ideas and everything mapped out. I just have decided, when I'm going to get that started, but hopefully it's going to be within the year 2025. So, there's a start on it, at least, okay? So, anyway, this has been a bit of a wild year-ish. Like, there have been a lot of highs, but there have also been setbacks, like we all have. But I can only hope, keep my fingers crossed, 2025 is going to be a turnaround year because with the setbacks that happen, it's been disheartening. So we can only keep our minds like going, hoping that things can get better. And once again, like I said, a special shout out to DJ. Like I said, if you guys want to like say hi to him, please. If you have TikTok, I'm gonna put the link in the description. Just go over there and brighten his day. Just please say hi, because I like seeing him happy. Because I mean, after all, he's been there for me ever since like before, and especially since the breakup happened and everything. So it's like he's got like the biggest heart that I've seen on anybody. So it's just like to have him in my life is like the absolute best, without a shadow of a doubt. So anyway, let me know in the comment section below, and a question for y'all. What are y'all going to remember, at least for yourselves, what are you all going to remember of 2024? At least within your lives. Let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed today's episode of the MAWBR podcast, folks, leave a like. Make sure you subscribe with the bell turned on. And catch you all later. Thanks for watching, folks. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace out, and good day, everybody.